League Outdoors. I'm here with my buddy John. My brother's over here behind the camera. We'd like to talk to you about our personal hunting hole here in the birds in Georgia. Some people see hunting as a bad thing. Jesus, man. What did I tell you about the safety? We don't need a Dick Cheney incident out here.
Sorry.
Anyways, see, we like to see hunting as our God-given right. If you read Acts 13:10, it says, Peter, rise up, kill and eat. So we take that, to be literal and come out here and shoot ducks. And, I don't really think unless you're a vegetarian, you should really be saying anything about, eating meat and stuff. But it can be an expensive hobby. Normally we'd have our decoys out here, but we left them at the house today. You can get decoy breeds up, any kind of breeds you want. It can be very expensive, and of course you got guns. They cost in the upward thousands. You got your waders, and companies just like to exploit their abilities to, take advantage of our fun with guns, waders, calls, shells, camo. It's pretty much anything you want. But I'm going to let John tell y'all about all the calls that we use around here.
Here in Georgia, we typically kill about 3 different species of ducks on a regular basis. One of them is a mallard, which is our pretty much favorite. Then the second one we get is a wood duck. Then another one what we get is what we call either the green-winged teal or a blue-winged teal. But we take either or. Sometimes when we got a decoy spread, we get ducks to fly on in, or just go and pass by, we usually do a landing call and do a feeding call. And if they're up higher in the, flying higher than usual, then what we do is we do the feeding call, and it draws them in a little closer, which goes a lot like this. And then once they start coming on in, and we try to get them to start landing, we do like a landing sequence. It sounds a lot like this. Another typical duck that we get is a wood duck. It's mainly seen in flooded timber or little water holes like this that they like to feed and nest around. We don't normally call them in just because they're a one-minded bird, and usually they just land where they want to, and there's not much duck to convince. But another duck that's the easiest to call in is a teal, which is one of our favorite ducks to shoot as well, just because the way it looks and the way it flies and everything. It's just a good-looking duck, and they have like this 10 sound. They go like 10, 10, 10. When you blow through that call, that's all you say is 10, 10, 10. That right there means that they're about to land. You better get your gun up.
As he was saying, the wood duck is the typical duck that we get around here. It's unfortunate that we don't get all kinds of ducks like our neighbors in Arkansas and Louisiana. We are actually on the Atlantic Flyway, which is up north. It's one of the better flyways, but down here in our parts, we get a duck here and there. Lucky for us, this is a pretty good hunting hole. Right over to our left, we have the Mississippi Flyway, and that's where Arkansas and Louisiana falls, and that's the best place if you want to hunt ducks. That's where you want to go in America. And if any of y'all watch Duck Dynasty, that's right there in Louisiana. As you can see, they get ducks all the time. Then if you go on over to the left again, you got the Central. It's pretty good. It's probably the second best. You got Texas and Oklahoma and Kansas. Those are some pretty hot spots for ducks. And then on over, you got the Pacific, and it's about like ours, except for down the coast along California. They get a lot of ducks in there. Scientists really aren't sure why the ducks, fly to these certain areas every time. A duck will fly into the same area or within a mile of that area that they flew in every year. So are their babies. Their babies actually will come back to the same place around the area they were born. and scientists aren't sure yet why. They think it's something to do with the stars or the moon and sun. But any good duck hunter knows if you want to hunt ducks, you got to go to Argentina. There you can shoot up to 25 a day. They don't have a season. Unfortunately for here, we can only shoot 6. But yeah, Argentina is the hot spot to go for duck hunting. Typically around here, we like to scout the area first and make sure there's ducks here. And fortunately for us, we were deer hunting one morning and we saw ducks just pouring in here. As you can see, we got this nice dam. Normally it's a beaver dam, but this was an old farm bridge. It makes this nice water hole here. Ducks just pour in there, and then the primary source that makes this a good hunting hole is that we're surrounded by 8 cornfields, and that's bringing in anything from deer, dove, turkey, plenty of ducks, anything you want to shoot. But lucky for us, we don't need to set up blinds around here because we have bushes and stuff like this that we can just hide behind. But a blind is actually something that a hunter is going to construct. He's going to take and build like a place with seats. He's going to put brush over it, and then he's going to pop out of it and cut the ducks when they fly over. Then if you want to build a swamp for a good duck hunting, first you're going to need a good food source. So you're going to need to start putting out piles of corn and stuff and dig it out really well. Basically, where any flooded timber is, you're going to have to go in and cut down those trees so you can get a good shot off. As far as hunting, we like to do basically morning hunting, because in the evening, if you shoot them off the roost when they're coming in to rest early in the season, they're not going to come in the morning to feed. Right now, the ducks are nesting. We actually saw a mom and her little ducklings swimming around the other day. The wood duck around here, it's really kind of cool. They nest in a hollowed out tree. She'll fly in. It can be up to 60 feet to 6 feet up in a tree. The little ducklings jump out and swim around with their moms once they get out of there. But then the mallards, they're just like normal birds and you might have seen a goose nest, and they just nest on the ground with brush and stuff. But now I'm going to let John take over, and he's going to tell you anything and everything you want to know about duck hunting memories.
One of the greatest things about duck hunting is I got a lot of things to cherish, and a lot of things bring up good memories. You know, you see shows on TVs, on the outdoor channels, you see them, harvesting a lot of ducks and getting their limits, and it always reminds me of a great hunt that I've always been successful in. And other things, I've got mounted ducks, wood duck, mallard, teal, and some ducks that sometimes don't make it through the Atlantic flyway, but when I harvest one, I sure do like to take advantage to mount it and make, memories for the future. And there's lots of other things, there's I've got family who's gotten into duck hunting now, and young people who step up to it, and they get better at it. And
yeah, and stuff like swamps, that really brings back memories. Like good hunting holes like here, it always brings up good memories for me. And just opening the fridge and seeing a nice mess of ducks frozen in there that we took out one day. There's two different kinds of hunting methods that we do. The first is the flushing method, and that's when you actually sneak up on the ducks and jump them. The second method is the set and wait, and that's when you're going to set up in your blind, and you're going to call for the ducks, and you're going to wait for them to pour in. When you pour in, you're going to cut them, and that's the typical kind of hunting, but some people like the flush hunting. Here's an example of the set and wait method.
Got that one.
I want to thank everyone for joining us and listening to this video, and we hope to see you next September when season opens.
And don't forget, fear God, love your neighbor, and if it flies, it dies.